Hello and welcome to the second installment of the third part of the series of videos I made detailing hundreds of my favorite songs of all time. Continuing on from the previous videos, I will only be doing one song per artist, and all of the artists will be different than who I've talked about thus far, and they are shown on screen now. Last time I did A through P, and this time will be P through Z/numbers, and these will be my favorite songs based on a variety of factors. Sentimental value, whether I just really enjoy it and think it's very good, I have some kind of attachment to it for X, Y, and Z reasons. Some new, with possible recency bias attached, others that I've loved for years. Some I've mentioned before, and others I've never talked about in a public forum such as this. I would hope that with this solidly varied list, that everyone watching will get at least a few recommendations for songs that they've never heard of. But first, I want to tell you about Upside. This amazing free app earns you cash back on everyday purchases like gas, groceries, going out to eat, and it doesn't work with weird, confusing credits or points. It's actual cash back that you can transfer directly to your bank account. Once you have Upside downloaded, you can see all the offers in your area or search for something specific. Claim the offer of whatever you're about to buy. Pay with the credit or debit card that you have linked to the app and get paid. Personally, I drive a lot and I'm always just kind of annoyed buying gas. It just feels like something that I shouldn't be spending that much money on. Or going out to eat, getting Chipotle, it just feels bad spending money. But not anymore, now that I know that I'm earning serious cash back on purchases that I'm going to be making anyway. Top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description, download Upside, and use code ALFO, ALFO, to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or scan the QR code here to claim the offer. There's plenty of choices for Pinegrove, but No Drugs, specifically the Amperland live version, is this harmonious, effervescent tune that makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Is it enough now just to want to, even if you mean it?
I wanna remember everything we talked.
About a year ago, a friend showed me the 1980s sophistopop band Prefab Sprout, and their song King of Rock and Roll is fun, polished nonsense. This catchy track has the quirkiness of a one-hit wonder, but the songwriting and melodies of a classic. Rest in peace to the beautiful, haunting Q Lazarus and her song Goodbye Horses. If this is your first time watching me, this song is a pretty good signifier of the kind of stuff that I'm into. There's a dark theatrical nature, a driving beat, deep synths, and overall it's so 80s. You can sing and dance along to it as much as your heart desires. Shout out to my video on Outsider Music. R. Stevie Moore is the pioneer of the at-home recording and the original bedroom pop musician. I Like to Stay Home is his eclectic, almost hypnotic anthem for not getting out much. REM's ode to Andy Kaufman, Man on the Moon, is this relatable balance of melancholia and optimism. Backed by a warm bass line and a country-tinged slide guitar, Michael Stipe talks you through the concept of belief and the possible irony that comes with believing in anything. Lyrically, part of the magic is the uncertainty of it all.
If you believe they put a man on the moon.
Ravi's AJ is a gorgeous crescendo of Midwest emo-influenced indie rock. The build-up to that big explosion of sound and the more hardcore punk harmonies coming in at the end is magnificent. The goal of my channel has always been music discovery, and today I will once again be trying to influence that I love all music except I hate country crowd. I understand that the bro country of I got my beer in my tractor is gaudy and annoying, but please give something like Randy Travis's Forever and Ever Amen a try. Don't take this comparison too seriously, but I think the point makes enough sense to mention. The line between enjoying contemporary singer-songwriter folk stuff like Adrienne Lenker and Phoebe Bridgers is not so far away to this kind of thing.
Oh, baby, I'm gonna love you forever.
In addition to sincere love songs of the country variety, I also enjoy cheese that makes me laugh and smile. The vast lore of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up is hard to separate from the song itself, but a lesser song would not have the longevity that this one has had.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Rina Sawayama's Bad Friend is a very sleek, contemplative, electronic R&B pop song that delves into the complicated emotions of losing touch with a friend. There is also a dance remix that I like very much as well.
The truth is, I'm so good at crashing.
RMR's Rascal is an original, defiant song that is both country and trap, and also, like, neither of those things. And you are gonna shed a tear singing Fuck 12, Fuck 12.
And every sleepless night, let me do.
Maggie May by Rod Stewart is inherently nostalgic, and it is an essential part of the 70s canon, in my opinion. It's also sort of the proto-heyyyy in that you're singing and dancing along to very sad lyrics.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something.
Thank you to Rosalia for putting a song called Hentai in all caps on the list of my favorite songs of all time. Between her ethereal vocals and that piano, I'm already sold. But once that experimental, crunchy percussion comes in, it goes to a whole new level of bold and boundary pushing.
So good,
I'm gonna use this segment to tell a story that I think isn't talked about enough. So Sam Cooke, one of the greatest vocalists in the history of the world, once he was growing in popularity in the late 50s to early 60s and performing for television and predominantly white audiences and big theaters and stuff, he had to sort of tone down who he was. He had to be polite and nice and proper and sing his song and leave. He couldn't be himself and be one of the most soulful, charismatic men to ever live. But when he was on the road and playing for his people, predominantly black audiences, they wanted the real Sam. There was no, like, presentable version of him. They wanted who he was. Live at the Harlem Square Club in 1963 in Miami, Florida, this is a live recording that was originally shelved because it was too raw and real and explosive and amazing, because it is Sam Cooke and a crowd full of black people having fun and cheering, and you can hear the crowd as much as you can hear him, and he's loving it and the crowd is loving it, and it's fantastic, and I recommend you listen to the incredible Bring It On Home to Me from this record.
If you ever change your mind.
Sammy as the Baby was constantly on replay for me, and Fit in Full is the big single from it. It's a fun, satirical take on diet culture and self-perception. Only getting hotter as I sweat, I have never really been upset, just hollow and amazing. Back-to-back charming satires, Sydney Gish's Sophisticated Space is a satirical look at her time at Northeastern University. I'm a sucker for a drum machine that really fits a song perfectly, and her personality shines throughout this thing too. A concept that I will always reference when I get the chance to is the song that feels like it should be on the soundtrack to a 90s rom-com, and Sixpence None the Richer's Kiss Me is the root of that concept. The romantic twee atmosphere and phrases like milky twilight, it is so specifically what it is, and I treasure it very much. What I think is the most recent song on this list, Snow Strippers' So What If I'm a Freak, has been on repeat for me constantly. The melody of this electro-pop house tune puts me in a trance, and we are in the dubstep revival. Soccer Mommy's Circle the Drain is what I was just talking about with Kiss Me, but it's not actually in She's All That. In the past, I think I was more into Sophie's more experimental, aggressive stuff like Ponyboy and Face Shopping, but now It's Okay to Cry hits very differently. Rest in peace to an absolute legend.
It's okay to cry.
Squeeze's Up the Junction is incredibly addictive. From the tone of vocalist Glenn Tilbrook to the story being told in the lyrics, and how it's both conversational and super rhythmic, you just get drawn in more and more.
We moved into a basement with thoughts of our engagement.
For the Steely Dan slot, I was thinking about the pure earworm melodic brilliance of Reelin' in the Years, but right now I'm going with the unique cynicism of Kid Charlemagne.
Make you feel like Jesus.
Steve Lacy, Bad Habit, What Can I Say? I love a perfect pop song. This is one of the catchiest tunes of the last few years, and the whole concept is just the right amount of clever. There are certain songs that you hear from an artist and you're like, this is what you were born to make. This is you. It encapsulates everything I like about you as a musician, and this song is it. For me, with SZA, that song is 20-something.
How could it be 20-something all alone still?
This Must Be the Place by Talking Heads feels both completely one of a kind, but also very comforting, like it's home. It only takes the first couple seconds to put a smile on my face, and it stays there the whole song. I, like everyone else, have always been a huge All Too Well guy when it comes to Taylor Swift. The 10-minute version came out, and it's arguably even better, but right now, something in my heart is telling me to go with Mean. It's kind of tastefully campy, the idea is very endearing, and I'm a sucker for that clapping sing-along at the end.
Someday I'll be living in a big...
Please ignore that the next few things will be the blank, even though alphabetically it should just be what the blank is and not the blank, you know? From the Book of Mormon, the South Park guys and Andrew Rannells bring us I Believe. It's funny, earnest, and that key change is top notch.
I believe that God.
The Cure's Pictures of You is a lush, dreamy soundscape that evokes a sense of nostalgia, and Robert Smith's delivery is beautiful and iconic.
I've been looking so long.
One of the most soulful white boys to ever do it, Michael McDonald on the Doobie Brothers' What a Fool Believes, is otherworldly. It's groovy, the production is sophisticated and smooth, and the warmth that this song has rivals something like This Must Be the Place. I'm a big fan of the Muppets, and the emotional state that I'm in currently will only allow me to talk about pictures in my head, funny enough. This is from the 2011 film The Muppets, and Kermit is singing about how the gang has gone their separate ways. Everyone is sort of split up doing their own thing, and he's talking about the memories that they've had, he's reminiscing, and he's asking the question, would anyone even care if they got back together? And I cry every time.
They may have been unbearable, but I still loved your joke.
You Can't Hurry Love by the Supremes is irresistible, and it's Motown at its best. This is expert songwriting, and I love the call and response vocals. This might be a weird comparison, but Apple Blossom by the White Stripes reminds me of Paul and Linda's Ram. There's a retro vintage aesthetic, but it's undeniably playful and organic. It's the opposite of something that's mass-produced. It feels handmade.
Tell your troubles to come.
Outside of the R&B neo-soul world, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a sexier song than The Zombies' Time of the Season. It is absurd that they made something so timelessly cool in the 60s.
What's your name? What's your name? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Thundercat's Dragon Ball Durag is a poppier single from him, but still as funky and silly as can be.
Let me know, how do I like in my do-rag?
Quintessential 80s dance pop, Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now is an anthem like no other. It's one of my go-tos if I want to groove around, and I love how huge the pre-chorus feels. There are a million love songs and breakup songs, but Todd Rundgren's Can We Still Be Friends finds a sweet, melancholic balance in between. It's lovely, sad, and hopeful. Tom Tom Club's Genius of Love is a bizarre banger filled with glorious nonsense. Every minute or so, you're greeted by new gibberish to dance to. Townes Van Zant's gentle, poetic nature is shown perfectly on I'll Be Here in the Morning. Well, there's no stronger wind than the one that blows down a lonesome railroad line. No prettier sight than looking back on a town you left behind. But there's nothing that's as real as a love that's in my mind. Close your eyes, I'll be here in the morning.
Close your eyes, I'll be here for a while.
Thank God for T-Pain and the super duper smash of Bartender. He absolutely floats on this song. I love the atmospheric synths, and this is one of the best hooks of the 21st century. Tracy Chapman's Fast Car, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say about this that other people have not. She is so raw and genuine in her delivery. It's intimate, and it's some of the greatest storytelling in song ever. Again, I keep saying ever, but like, seriously, ever.
I remember when we were driving in your car.
Drugs You Should Try It by Travis Scott helped me fall in love with his music a decade ago. And that feels insane to say. It's that blend of trippy and ethereal that makes you feel like you're on another planet. Again, with my pro-country agenda, Travis Tritt's Help Me Hold On is what you should think of when you think of the genre, not Blake Shelton.
Help me hold on to what we.
One of Your Girls by Troye Sivan is him reaching a mountaintop that I never thought would be possible when I was listening to Happy Little Pill forever ago. It is a fully realized piece of contemporary R&B pop that is so satisfying in every way. I'm taking this slot to talk about my deep love for Usher. He is one of the performers of the 21st century, a great songwriter, singer, dancer. He's great. He's amazing live. Check out his Tiny Desk. And please make sure you listen to Confessions 1 going into Confessions Part 2.
I got a chick on the side, a crib in a ride, telling you so many lies.
A quick anecdote. In my sophomore year of high school, I got called up to the varsity soccer team, and some of the upperclassmen knew that I was like the kid that liked music, and so they asked me to play a pump-up song on somebody's wireless speaker. I threw on Lurkin' by Waka Flocka Flame, and the reaction that got is something that I will never forget.
My boys, they be lurking.
One of the most versatile rock bands, Ween's Tried and True is their masterpiece in my opinion. It's a spiritual experience. I love the effects on the vocals. That guitar riff is something else, and it has their signature humor too.
Oh, somewhere good, some bad, I felt the cries.
One of my go-to karaoke songs, Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus, is a pop-punk anthem that captures the awkward excitement of adolescent angst. The big twist that happens at the end of the song is one of my favorite things in music.
I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden.
The slow build of Maps by Yeah Yeah Yeahs is great, and it always amazes me when a band can fit so much meaning into so few words. Wait, they don't love you like I love you. Young Lean's Agony is minimalist, but it also feels like it captures an entire lifetime of feeling. There are some of the most introspective, thoughtful lyrics that you'll find on this whole list.
Isolation caved in, I adore you.
Zach Sore Throat is a fascinating paradox production-wise. It achieves this weird balance of DIY and expertly produced that always has me coming back for more, and the video is great too. There are a ton of songs that I could have picked for 100 gecs, but Ringtone is a solid introduction to what this group does. Sometimes less is more, and that's weird to say for an irony-poisoned, hyperpop, absurdist, chaotic band, but...
My boy's got his own ringtone. Is the only one I know, is the only...
And to close out this list, 50 Cent's Many Men is defiant, braggadocious, and hard as hell. Just don't think about the 8-year-old version of me listening to this on my iPod Classic on the way to school, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Many men wish death upon me.
I hope that you've enjoyed this installment of Guy Talks About Songs That He Likes. I will include a link to a Spotify playlist in the description. And thanks. I'll see you soon.